Welcome back. Some big news today. For the very first time, the EPA set enforceable limits on the amount of man-made chemicals known here as PFAS in our drinking water. Here in Minnesota, this feels like a long time coming. Our state has been at the forefront of this for years, tracking PFAS contamination in our water and studying the increased risks of cancer and other health concerns that come with the exposure. It's already been 6 years since 3M settled a major lawsuit with our state over PFAS pollution. So what does the announcement from the EPA today really mean for us? Kent went to find out today. Kent?
Well, Jenna, because our state has been testing for these chemicals for years, it didn't take long to find out that as of this morning, there are 23 water systems in our state that exceed those new EPA limits. You're looking at them right behind me. They're set at 4 parts per trillion, if that means anything to you. But those readings, the public response, and resources to fight back, well, that all depends on where you live. To understand the level of concern in response to PFAS readings in Woodbury, first consider the source.
We are really in a good position to handle this going forward.
Mayor Ann Burt says even though 9 of the city's 20 wells now exceed EPA levels, by the time that water goes to homes, it is treated.
Inside these tanks behind me here, they are filled with granulated activated carbon. And as the water flows through that carbon material, the contamination in the water sticks to that carbon material and is removed from the drinking water supply.
How well does it work?
It works great. It produces non-detectable levels of PFAS treated water.
It works so great that the city will soon break ground on an even bigger treatment facility to cover all 20 wells later this year.
We anticipate having a total of 42 vessels in our facility that will produce 32 million gallons a day of treated water that will be PFAS free.
None of this strikes me as cheap.
No, it's not. We are fortunate in that we were part of the state of Minnesota settlement against 3M.
Fortunate does not describe the situation just down the river in Hastings, which notified residents today that 5 of 6 wells are now above the EPA threshold.
We can't take one offline and use the clean wells because none of them are clean. There are no workarounds by any means.
Dan Waticha says that means the most cost-effective solution will be to build 3 new treatment plants.
I choke a little bit when I say cost effective because it's $69 million.
And unlike Woodbury, which plans to spend more than $400 million on its permanent plant, Hastings was excluded from the 3M settlement money. And while the Biden administration says it will distribute $10 billion to address emerging contaminants nationally, a Minnesota estimate last year found it could cost $14 to $28 billion in our state alone over the next 20 years.
Absolutely a health issue we want to address, but it's sort of being forced on us. We certainly didn't ask for the pollution or cause it. We're going to need help because that's just a budget buster for our residents.
And keep in mind, building costs aren't the only source of concern.
Roughly every 18 months or so, we have to change the material out from these vessels to put new, fresh material in it. It will be in the $4, $5, $6 million range on an annual basis to continue this type of treatment.
Keep in mind, they didn't have treatment prior to this type of treatment in Woodbury, so that's a lot of extra costs. And as you can imagine, there are now a lot of conversations happening at our state and national capital about those cost concerns related to water treatment in many communities. That includes Hastings, which is exploring several possible sources of funding to help break ground on those 3 treatment centers. According to the new EPA limits, communities do have 5 years to comply. Jana.
5 years sounds like a long time, but that is a lot of money. And I can't imagine what residents in some of these communities are thinking tonight. They just got this information, even if leaders knew it before.
Yeah, Hastings has been warning residents about this. This is something that's been talked about in the community. But again, they know that they've got a lot of questions. They have a public event planned in the next 30 days. They don't have a date yet, so we can't give it, but they'll be updating the community on all of those questions and concerns.
There'll be a lot of questions. Thanks so much, Kent.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.